Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 shines a light on the evil darkness that haunts the Playcare. It unravels the truth behind the Hour of Joy. Taking place right after the end of Chapter 2, following the train incident, we explore the Playcare and learn about new characters and the truth behind Playtime Co.'s downfall. But what really happened? The game begins in an interesting way. It looks like Catnap found us in the train wreck from the end of Chapter 2. Catnap carries us to some kind of trash chute and throws us down, thinking we are dead. We then escape the trash compactor and navigate our way through the train tunnels. While doing this, we get a phone call from a child named Ollie. He tells us we look lost, meaning he can somehow see us. He also doesn't want us to die, and he plans to help us. Ollie then gives us a battery to open the locked door. This is interesting because he can somehow see us and is able to control things from wherever he is. Why is this, and who is Ollie? Well, I have my theories, but that's for another video. Following this conversation, we make our way to Elliot's Express, which is a trolley ride into the Playcare. This Playcare is Playtime Co.'s very own on-site orphanage. It includes a school and a playhouse, an ecosystem beneath the surface world, a place where the orphans can call home. Our first task is to turn on the power for the Playcare. To do this, we need to go to the power room underneath the center statue. While we are down there, Ollie gives us a key that unlocks a door to the gas production zone. Ollie tells us this is the beating heart of the whole evil Playcare system. Ollie also tells us that the red gas is made here in the factory, although we need to bring it from the right side to the left. And to do this, we need to turn its power on. This is how we will be able to get to him, meaning the prototype. Soon after, we find a new grab pack hand. This hand allows us to push ourselves up off the ground using some kind of magnetic force. After solving a few puzzles and turning on the power to the gas machine, it turns online and the red gas transfers to the center chamber, although someone cuts off the power again. Ollie then gives us another key to head inside Home Sweet Home to find the backup generator. Once we enter, we immediately run into the red gas and start to hallucinate. Because of this, the hallways start to repeat themselves and we end up in a loop. Eventually, we find a room with a tape inside. This tape is for new employees and gives them a rundown of everything the job has to offer while Huggy Wuggy is on screen. But then the tone changes and the tape reminds us that we are returning to incomprehensible horrors eager to find us. While this happens, the nightmares version of Huggy Wuggy starts to get brighter and brighter. He then jumps out of the TV and grabs us. But of course, we wake up, realizing it was all just a dream or hallucination because we are exposed to the gas. As we navigate further, we end up finding a gas mask, which allows us to go deeper inside Home Sweet Home. Eventually, we solve some puzzles and turn on the backup generator. On our way out, we run into Kissy, Missy, and Poppy. She explains how they are here to help us, but we can't just leave. She needs us to help get revenge on the monsters that have been torturing everyone. She confirms that the prototype is behind everything. We then turn on the power. Poppy continues on about how the prototype won't let us leave. She wants to help us put an end to the prototype, explaining just how capable we are, reminding us that we stopped Huggy Wuggy and Mommy Longlegs. Now, this confirms Huggy Wuggy is actually dead. A lot of people theorize that he might still be alive and survived his fall, although now we have confirmation that this is not the case. We then get another call from Ollie. He tells us we need to restore the power to the gas production zone. All we have to do is plug in the big power cord from Home Sweet Home into the power box underneath the statue. Ollie explains to us that we have to do the same thing that we did with Home Sweet Home with the rest of the buildings. So he suggests we head to the school. As we enter the school building, we quickly learn the teachers are still here. We then hear Miss Delight over the intercom. She is one of the teachers that is still lurking around these empty halls. She tells us she recognizes us and suggests we leave, but of course we don't. Once we turn on the backup generator, she enters the room and destroys it. We grab the battery and run away, although whenever we turn our backs to her, Miss Delight comes closer, meaning she can only move when we are not looking. After opening a few doors, we are able to escape from being chased. Although when doing this, we close the door on Miss Delight and she gets crushed. Directly after this, we find the flare gun hand for our grab pack. We then find ourselves deep underground in what seems to be an employee tunnel to go from each location. At this moment, we stumble upon the massive prototype shrine including all of the dead toys. This was made by Catnap as a sort of gift to the prototype to show his devotion to him. After this discovery, we make our way to the playhouse. Once inside, we find DogDay shackled, cut in half, and hanging up by his arms. He explains how Catnap will try to kill us and that the prototype is his god. Catnap will destroy anyone who faults his beliefs. The smaller, smiling critters follow Catnap's commands in order to stay alive. This is why they attack us. DogDay continues explaining how he is the last smiling critter alive. While doing this, he is overtaken by the minis and starts to chase us. Luckily, we make it out alive. Next, we get another call from Ollie, and he explains what the prototype shrine was and why it was built. The prototype saved Catnap's life while he was still human, before he was Catnap. Although, in order to be saved, Catnap had to give up his own freedom in the process, meaning he now has to serve the prototype for the rest of his life. In Catnap's eyes, the prototype is a superhero. This is why Catnap treats him like a god, killing everyone that opposes him. I go over this in detail in one of my previous videos if you're curious. Now, after failing to get the generator running in the school, we head over to the counselor's office and try that one. Once we solve a few puzzles, we finally get it up and running. Although as we leave, Catnap finds us, rips our mask off, and knocks us out. We then go into another hallucinogenic state because we are exposed to the gas again. Hearing Poppy speak to us, we wake up on a road that leads to the facility. We then travel through the red gas and find ourselves back inside the opening room from chapter 1. We continue to find ourselves in different parts of the facility, again inside the halls of Home Sweet Home, also seeing the shadows of the children that once lived here. Next, we are inside a school room filled again with the shadows of the kids. After seeing a few more locations, we then see Huggy Wuggy standing in front of us. From there, we hear the emergency alarm going off and the screams of people being attacked as a massive prototype hand comes down at us, further proving this was his doing. This whole dream state seems to suggest that we don't quite know what's real and what's not, as said by Poppy, reminding us why we have to put a stop to the prototype. Once we wake up, we leave and plug in the final 2 power cords. We then bring the blue battery into the gas production zone, although when we try to plug it in, we are met with Catnap. He chases us into the elevator and follows us up. At this point, we are inside what used to be a massive safe room. The monitor tells us that Catnap is coming and we need to get ready. The room has batteries that we can use to our advantage. We need to place a battery in each receiver to charge the terminal. While waiting for it to charge, we can use smoke to deter Catnap as much as possible. After a while of fending him off, it's complete. At this point, we take the charge with our grab pack and suddenly Catnap drops down in front of us. We then shoot him with the charged hand and he bursts into flames. Once the flame subsides, the prototype's hand emerges from the vent as if he's about to grab Catnap. Although the prototype turns his hand over, like a friendly gesture as if he wants to help him stand. As Catnap gets to his knees, the prototype stabs Catnap through his mouth, ultimately taking his life. The prototype then brings Catnap up into the vent. However, I don't think it's that simple. Keep in mind, Catnap worshipped the prototype. He was his god. Once Catnap stopped burning, I think he knew he was on his last life. He knew his time was up. As the prototype dropped his hand, this wasn't an act of kindness. This was an act of desire. If Catnap could no longer serve, the prototype wanted his soul. Catnap came to his knees and offered his life to the prototype, sacrificing himself for what he thinks is the greater good. After this horrific event, we head back down the elevator and put in the last battery. This powers the station and we finally move the red gas over to the last chamber. Next, we meet with Poppy and she explains how everything is falling into place, how Catnap is gone and the red gas is diverted. She also tells us that we deserve to know the truth behind the hour of joy. From this, she shows us the tape. It includes the CCTV footage from the incident, how all of the toys and bigger bodies started attacking everyone, the guilty and the innocent. They then grab the bodies and drag them below the grounds where no one would find them, eating the bodies to stay alive. Poppy suggests we continue further as we make our way onto the elevator and start to descend as Kissy Missy stays to flip the switch. Although as we go down, Kissy starts getting attacked by the prototype. Once we start to ascend, the credits roll. I have a feeling once we get back to the top, we will find a hurt or dead Kissy Missy. From here, with the help of Poppy, it will now be up to us to take down the prototype and put a stop to his terror. What did you guys think of chapter 3? I really enjoyed it and I cannot wait for chapter 4. Although I was kinda bummed out that we didn't get to see the full prototype, but I'm sure they're saving him for the next chapter. I will be making a video explaining all of the new characters along with a few theories, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifiedT. Thanks for watching.